Hello and welcome back. This is Angelus, and today I'm going to make the attempt to teach you ways, a simple way, or at least educate you on the ways to become more financial literate. And we're going to talk about taxes. I know what you're saying. Angelus, why are you going to be talking about taxes? Can we just talk about anything but taxes? But you got to remember, I am a mindset business coach, and as a mindset business coach, everything dealing with business has to be taken into account. Your marketing, your sales, your administration, your customer service, and taxes. You know, your income, your expenses, everything. If you're an entrepreneur, or solopreneur, or business owner, you understand what I'm talking about. For you people working a job, and you're working for a corporation, this still applies to you. So it's good. It's something that some of you, this is the first time you ever heard of anything like it. For others that are, past clients and students, this is a refresher course, but I know for a few, and this video is made for a few out there, that they didn't know what they didn't know, and this will help them towards the next business plan and remodeling for the future. So let's start. Taxes. We just finished 4th of July 2021, and I was talking to some of my friends who are vets, and they told me, in fact, they made it very clear to me that paying taxes, when we got on the subject somehow, was a patriotic duty. And I said, paying taxes is not a patriotic duty. It's anti-American, in fact. In fact, this country was founded on not paying taxes. And he didn't seem to understand what I was talking about, so I'm going to explain it to you because I didn't realize how many people out there didn't know this. In fact, I realized it, but I just never got around to making this video. So the subject of taxes, it's too big, it's too broad for one small video. But I wish to give you a one-on-one on it. Also, I want to make it clear, I'm not a tax advisor. I am not a professional when it comes to dealing and doing taxes in general for employees or for businesses. But that being said, I do understand the tax laws enough so I can use them to my benefit, where most people don't understand how to use them for their benefits. And I'm not talking about just getting deductions, depending on what you're using it for. If you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur, business owner, I'm talking a little bit more about that. So taxes, improving your financial literacy. What is taxes then? If it's not a patriotic duty, what did I mean to when I said that to my friend? And he looked at me like I was crazy. Remember the Tea Party, Boston Tea Party? Back then, there was taxation without representation. We didn't want the taxes, so we rebelled. We went to a civil war. We basically said no to the motherland. We're not paying your taxes anymore. And that started a big trend towards a new country when we won the war. Now, we did collect some taxes after the war. George Washington and the founding fathers weren't idiots. They understood we just left the war. We have to build a new country. We need revenues. But there was no standardized or global state-to-state wise tax laws or policies. They kind of collected it where they came. It was more like a stipend. So there wasn't really taxing on the level that we understand it today. So what happened? When did we start getting taxed today? You got to remember, this country, we started out fighting taxes. This country was born on not being taxed. Then in 1943, things changed. We had to win a war. We were fighting in the Pacific and in Europe, and we needed to win. So we had to build a war machine, and that requires money. So the government decided, well, let's make tax laws and start collecting from the public. And to make sure we get as much as we can from them without much complaining, as we do today, let's say it's their patriotic duty, which, again, that makes sense back then. Back then, you're collecting taxes, it's patriotic duty. You're giving the government your gold, that was patriotic duty. You're giving them all the metals so they can use for their weapons and tanks and planes and whatever else for the war effort. I understand why my friend thought patriotic duty, but that's how they sold us in 1943. That is when they started the Current Tax Act. Then march forward to 1986, when there was the Reform Tax Act of the current way we're being processed when it comes to taxes. Now, what does that all mean? Why they did it the first time for war, but what was that for? Who were they collecting taxes from? The employees. people worked a regular job. Now, if you see this grid that I have up, I use grid often. In fact, almost every single time I'm talking about finances, I always bring this grid up, and it changes depending on what I'm talking about. So this one doesn't have anything about taxes, but what it does say is, there's the E, the S, and the B, excuse me. The E and the S is active income, meaning no work equals no pay. Solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and people who work for a company, whatever, small, big, that's employee, solopreneur. And then the B side and the I side, that's the business owner and the investor. That's passive income. Now, just so you understand, on the B and I side, you are paying less taxes than you are on the E and S side. So if you're an employee, 1943 is when they brought in the new current taxes, and you're taxed the most. In fact, let me make sure I get it. Okay, you see this quadrant is showing, I wrote in with my own pen just recently, it's showing 40% on the average. So if you are a successful employee of a corporation or a business, if you are successful, you are paying anywhere plus or minus here and there, close to about 40% in taxes, one way or another. Obama, when he became president some time ago, he was paying about 40% taxes. Even though he was a United States president, he made his wealth, his finances came from businesses. Okay, but businesses he also was part of, so he was an employee. It wasn't his exact business. So he was an employee, and he got paid. He went to the tax bracket of close to 40%. Now, when you become a solopreneur entrepreneur, you paid almost no tax. In fact, there wasn't really any taxes to be worried about until 1986. 1986 Reform Act created the new tax, and that taxed the solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. So now, 1943 tax to the present, all employees of all companies and corporations, and staff, employees, workers. And then in 86, that new Reformed Act started with the solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. Now, the entrepreneurs, if you look on the chart, plus or minus here and there, they're paying far more taxes, about 60%, believe it or not. I know because I've been a solopreneur, an entrepreneur for a while. Now I'm a business owner and an investor. But when I was a solopreneur entrepreneur, the first thing I noticed was, why all these taxes, all these tax losses? It's like it's working against us. So when I started studying how owning a business, which I own a couple businesses, I've closed a couple businesses, they pay less in taxes. Now, that's paying less in taxes is tax avoidance, which is legal, not to be confused with tax evasion, which is illegal. I was trying to avoid paying more taxes. So it behooved me to get into a tax bracket, which I paid less taxes. Not a coincidence. The reason, not only did I pay less taxes, I also made more money. So if you're an employee, you're a solopreneur entrepreneur, you're going to be taxed the most simply because of the fact that where you are located in the quadrant. That's according to the tax laws. That's according to how the business is run in this country or almost any country. So if you want to spend less taxes, you got to be an investor or business owner. Now, what is the taxes for an investor? I'm also an investor. You ready for this? 0. If you know how to invest, and if you know how to run a business, you're going to pay the less amount of taxes. The most you're going to be taxed is 20%. That's on your business. But if you know how to use the asset, and we'll talk about that in another video because this is really too broad of a subject to say in one video. But if you own a business and you use it as an asset in your ledger, business ledger, you can actually pay no taxes at all, even as a business owner. But definitely, as an investor, you can pay no taxes. Now, what's an investor? You invest in real estate, you invest in stocks and bonds, you invest in precious metals. I mean, there's 1,000 things you can invest in, millions, excuse me. But if you don't know, or should I say, if you're not financially competent, if you're not financially literate, you can still be an investor and pay taxes when you should pay 0. Or you may pay the highest amount of taxes with your company if you don't know how to run your company. You can't do nothing about it when you're a sole entrepreneur or work for a company. So how, Angelus, do I get to the B or I side of the quadrant? That has to be a choice. You have to make that on your own. I can't make it for you. But when you make that choice, you have to decide, do or die. I'm going to be either a business / investor or an investor. Now, I'm working towards just being a pure investor. I'm thinking of leaving and closing down all options of running businesses on my own. I may buy businesses later, like people buy real estate. Some people can buy businesses. And that puts you in a different tax bracket. That's why the rich get richer and the poor stay poor, or the middle class stay middle class. That is the reason why. Each quadrant you're in, there's nothing wrong with it. You want to? I do have friends and I have colleagues who love working for their company, love working for the corporation they're in, and that's fine. It pays them well, it takes care of them, but they're going to pay the most taxes, and they'll never understand or ever own a business because they're spending their full time with employment. That's okay. There's nothing wrong. Middle class or poor, not a problem if that's your choice. Same thing for solopreneur entrepreneurs. I have a lot of solopreneur entrepreneurs as clients at the moment, and some of them have decided they want to be business owners / investors. So I'm helping them to get in that direction. Now, once you get into the business owner, once you get into the investor, then you have to get new advisors. And I highly recommend new accountants, new lawyers, new tax advisors, different from the advisors you had when you were in the E or S quadrant. They're not the same, because to survive in the S or E quadrant, you have to have different advice because you're in a different tax bracket. You got different laws pertaining to you, and you cannot go by the laws that pertain to the business owner and investors. They have different laws. They're differently taxed, so they have to have different advisors. Those advisors will not advise people on the EOS quadrant. So understand, if you want better advisors to make better money to pay less taxes, you got to focus on the B and the I side of the quadrant. One last thing. What is the importance of being a business owner or investor? I repeat from what I said earlier, it's passive income. You have unlimited amount potential to make whatever you want to make. You can literally never stop making money. That's, again, it goes back to the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. It's because of that. Once you get into the investing and business side of the quadrant, you can make unlimited amount of money. You can stop at whatever level makes you fine. But as an S and E, your time is equal to your money. So if you stop working, you stop making money. So I hope this has helped somebody out there. I hope it helped a lot of people out there. Maybe this has educated a few of you. That's the purpose of this video. I will get into more information on this and future videos, but I want to give like a taste, kind of an introduction, so you understand. For those of you who don't know what taxes are, afraid of taxes or hate taxes, don't hate them. Learn, become financially literate about taxes, so you can start making more money to pay less taxes. Wouldn't that be a great world? You pay more money to pay less taxes, and then when you get to that level, teach others to do the same. With that, I'm going to let you go. Have a wonderful day. This is Angelus, and thank you for coming to see me today. Have a great one. See you soon.